Jill McCarthy. Oh, it's recording. Oh, already. Okay, whatever. Welcome to Thursday Night Shift. Let's have the first person ask any question that you'd like the panelist to answer. First person that types their good old question is going to be our question of the night. It must be G-rated. I haven't had any vodka. I could go pour one though, since it's craft night.
And something that you'd really like to know or learn from us, like.
Oh, it's Holly Woodward's question tonight. How did you learn to be a good leader?
Whoa.
We're going to start with.
I can start. I'll start. So I will say that for myself, it was by failing and doing a lot of things wrong and doing them wrong many, many times, like thinking I needed to know all the answers of the questions that everybody had, or thinking that I needed to please everyone, thinking that I needed everyone to like me and like all of the things that I offered them, and to think that they were just fantastic, thinking just all of the things. Like I just thought that I needed to be the perfect leader, that I needed to do everything a certain way. And so again, then I made a lot of mistakes. I hurt a lot of people's feelings. And then I went to this great training and when I say I hurt a lot of people's feelings, just in general, like we as leaders will hurt people's feelings. We don't mean to, we never want to, but it happens. Sometimes people take the things that I say, you say, any of us say, and take them the wrong way. And they kind of come back with a snarky answer. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. How did you get anything mean out of what I just wrote? I did not mean anything negative whatsoever. So again, having to learn, one of the biggest things that I've learned is to always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. So that is one thing that has been very humbling and very difficult at times, when I know deep down somebody's being mean to me, but I have decided that I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I have no idea what just happened in their family. I have no idea what just happened to anything to do to them at all. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. I try to assume that they didn't mean the way I took it. And so that's kind of one of the things. So to answer the question, I have failed a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes, but instead of dwelling on them, I tried to get it right the next time. I try to apologize when I make a mistake with people, and just learning. So the longer you're in it, the more you'll learn, and learning that you don't have to know everything.
That's good. Jen, who do you want to call on?
I'm going to call on Jody. Oh, no, Jody's camera is not open. So who do I see first?
I'm here. I'm just.
Oh, okay, Jody, I can call on you.
Yeah, you can. I just have my camera off because I just got out of the shower. So I'm going to go off of everything that Jen just said, because it's 1,000% true. And I think that continuing to learn, like personally, I still feel, like I fail in many areas of being a leader. So my word for this year, I told the girls earlier and they laughed because it's a fun word to say, it's betterment, because I want to be better in all aspects of my life, business and personal related. So I think in order to be a good leader, you have to be able to admit that you're not perfect, admit that you make mistakes and there's faults, admit that you're always going to be willing and open to learning new things. So there is no such thing as the perfect leader. And it's hard. A lot of times I think we're hard on ourselves as leaders, that we maybe don't do something as well, or we don't do something like somebody else does. So we compare ourselves, and that does nothing but takes away from our ability, from ourselves and what we can do to serve you better. So I think in order to be a good leader is you need to tell yourself that you will always continue to grow, pour into yourself always, because you never stop learning and growing as a person, as a business owner, and as a leader. How about Miss McCarthy? Dun, 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 Julie Sue.
It's like you can feel the energy. It's almost like you know that your name's going to be popped up next. I probably would say, first, follow the people that are doing that have accomplished or doing the things that you want to do. Like that's the first thing. I tell that story a million times of how I pretty much stalked a bunch of superstar directors and went through the internet to see what they were doing and what they were achieving, and kind of latched onto those people. But more importantly, I think good leadership, and this branches on what everybody else says, is a lot of personal development. It's a lot of yes systems and all of that stuff and teaching people, but it's learning to be focusing on how you can learn to communicate better. It's also really taking a 30,000 foot view of how you deal with things. We tend to be in our own bubble and we deal with things a certain way and we think everyone should know. Like for me personally, if I'm dealing with something, I tend to retreat. Like I go into my own little hole. I don't want to bother anyone with it. I tend to just, deal with it, whatever. And we get this mindset that everyone should know that that's what we do, right? Like it's not anything personal. I might not be on the team page. I might not be doing this, but I'm just dealing with my own stuff. So you have to kind of be aware of how you deal with things and be aware of what type of learner you are, be aware of what type of things motivate you, and understand that that's not going to be the same for everybody else. So like Jen said, you're going to make mistakes, hurt people's feelings. You have to be humble and willing to acknowledge their feelings, not take offense to, you know what I mean? Not take offense to them being hurt or upset. Learning to apologize, learning to say, I completely understand. I did this wrong. I think when you're first starting out in business, one, you're trying to figure out how to take responsibility for being responsible for yourself. And we tend in the beginning to get super defensive. If anyone wants to call us out on anything or get mad at us or all the things, right? You just have to kind of stand above all that and learn about yourself and learn how you deal with things, and then become a master communicator. One-on-one conversations, not get too caught up in team pages and likes and like all of that drama stuff, that goes that way, and just continue personal development nonstop throughout your whole career. Never stop learning to be a really good communicator, and just not taking things too personally, I would say. So I go to, is Jamie here? Jamie's next.
I'm here.
There she is.
Obviously, I'm going to say amen to what everyone's already said. And I actually am glad I didn't go first, because when the question was first asked, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say to that. But after having a couple of conversations with some friends and associates, whatever you want to call them, I realized probably when I came into, I still don't consider myself a leader. I tell people that all the time, but it was when I kind of got out of my bubble. Like I pretty much only, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, kind of hung out with one person, only really talked to one or two, maybe three people tops. I was real nervous to talk to other people, but legit, I kid you not, when I literally just put myself out there and was like, hey, Heather, we've never hung out and I don't know what I'm doing, but can I come to your meeting? Like it was when I really put myself out there, and I've learned to do that with other people too. I'm so lucky to have this group of ladies, but I've done that in other ways, and I myself have grown. And it's been a lot easier for me to see my strengths when outside of my own team. You know what I mean? My upline, my downline, it's been so much, I don't know how to explain it other than I know that's when I had the most growth. As a person, as a leader, as a consultant, when I stepped out of what the norm, like this already works, I had that growth mindset and was like, you are capable of more and you can do more, whether you think you can or can't, you can, right? So anyways, I know that's kind of a jumbled up mess, but that is really an aha for me that when I branched out, it really made a difference. And obviously always having that positive circle around you, reminding you that it does, the way I lead is not going to look the same way as Jen's. It's not going to look the same way as Callie and Mecca. It's not going to look the same way as Heather. We're going to have similarities because obviously we all feed off of each other, but it has helped me really be like, this is what works for me. And I'm not going to change that yet. Not until I feel good about this. And so also, if you ever think you've reached it all and you know it all, you're completely wrong and you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up for a lot of failure if you consider yourself done and peaked, because every single day I'm trying to better myself and help better those in my group. So, okay, pass the mic to Callie.
Because Amen. They're exactly right. Something that I was kind of thinking, because I feel like they've said a lot of the things that, when did you feel like you became a good leader? Well, I still feel like I'm not, right? Like, I still think we all are trying. We're all like working towards finding our groove, and we try things and that doesn't work, or somebody has this idea and we change. And so I can't say that I would say that I'm a great leader yet. So years ago, I was doing a presentation somewhere, and Superstar Director Danette Kroll, actually, I was talking to her, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I've done this so many times. I can't believe I'm still nervous." Right. And she said to me, and I had to write it down because my brain's still not working 100%, but she said, "If you stop being scared or nervous, that means you don't care." And so that stuck with me all these years later. And so when I still feel nervous, or I still get anxiety or whatever about what I am or am not doing as a leader, I remember that it's important to still care. It's important to still get nervous. Those things are important, because if you stop feeling that excitement or feeling that nervousness, somehow you feel like you've reached the right point, or you've reached something and you don't care as much. I'm not saying that you don't at all, right? We can become comfortable with being uncomfortable and those types of things, but I hope you're grasping what I mean by that. And so I would just say everything that these ladies said, but just understanding that I don't think that any of us can fully say, "Oh yes, I'm the best leader out there." And that's because we are still learning and we are still growing, and that's okay. So.
Right. Is it just me left? That's it?
Yep.
Yeah, because Melissa's on vacay. I had wrote some things down as y'all were talking, because I had to think about that. That was a hard question, actually. And I wrote exactly what Callie just said. I'm still learning, and time. So I didn't plan in my lifetime to be leading anyone. I mean, I can barely lead myself at times, it seems like. At least it's fun. I mean, life is short and I'll live it to the fullest. So I think I'm still learning how to do it, but I will tell you, I lead with my heart. If I can make someone feel good, recognize them for something, you can't really go wrong when you just start focusing on the positive of someone and what they did right, and you go with your gut when you're leading with your heart. And it does, like Jamie said, she did develop courage. You do get more courage as time goes on. And being a leader and putting yourself in that role, because if you sponsor one person, you're a leader. One person, you are a leader, whether you have 500 or you have one person, you are a leader. If you have children or pets, you're a leader, you're a role model. I don't care what you're calling it, but people are looking up to you for something, right? And so I think you have to remember, and I tell myself this all the time, like I'll send something out or leaders all the time, like, am I even reaching out to them? Are they even hearing me? Are they responding? I sent this out, I haven't heard anything. Do they like it? Do they not like it? We start getting in our own heads, right? But the minute that someone says, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much," or "This made my day," or "I love this little card you sent me," one person makes us feel like this was all worth it. So it's amazing how one voice, one person can hear you, and it's worth it. So just remember that, like, you will always be the best in at least one person's eyes, always, always. So just keep that in mind as you're building your team. You don't have to be the best in everyone's eyes, because you shouldn't. Not everybody should have the number one person. I know my number one is not the same as Jen's, as Jody's, as Callie's, as Jill's, as Jamie's. We all have different number ones, as it should be. That's what makes us different people, right? But you've got to lead by example. If you're going to walk the walk, you better talk the talk. If you want people to respect you and you want people to follow in your footsteps and have some value to what you're saying, I'm not going to tell you to do something or suggest you to do something unless I've done it or I am doing it, right? So you've got to lead by example. You've got to be consistent. There's always going to be better leaders out there. It's just a fact. Somebody's always going to be skinnier. Someone's always going to be prettier. Someone's always going to be a better decorator. Someone's always going to be better, right? It is what it is, right? So I think just always remember that if you are a quote person, find a quote, do a morning motivation, find something to start your day off right. So when what is it, Callie? The itty bitty icky committee gets in your head, you're getting it out, null and void, it's out, right? So I think you've got to stay on that path, and whoever you're following and listening to, they may be a great business person, but an ugly human being, right? But why are you listening to them? Are you listening to be a great Christian woman, or are you learning to better a business, right? Like you gotta take the good with the bad, right? I may not listen to the same person to hear the word of God, but I am gonna build an empire, right? So you just have to remember, you don't have to like who you're listening to, but figure out who you're listening to for what. And if they're a good influence with what you're doing in business, you do it, be consistent, learn, try. You have to have courage, because your knowledge that you're soaking up to be better, if you're not applying it and implementing it, you're going to be in the same spot that you were when you started. So that's all I have. And I think Jen's going to take it away with our lesson.
Well, okay. So I love every single thing that every single one of these people have said. Yes, Heather always takes us to church. Isn't it true? So true. And like they've all said, find people who bring you inspiration. Find people who you can follow. You know what I've been hearing a lot lately is I don't have a person. I don't have anybody to hang out with. I don't have a group of Scentsy people. And it's hard for me to give advice for that, because you can't really just like send out applications. You've got to put yourself out there, and you've got to work really hard. And you just say to somebody, hey, I love what you're doing. And like Heather said, you know what, I might not necessarily believe in, I might hate who they voted for, or I might hate some of the things that they're doing in their personal life, but you know what, they made a really cool graphic, and I'm going to reach out to them. And by reaching out to them, maybe someday they'll say, oh, you know who else really liked that graphic was Jen. You ought to go talk to whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just by putting yourself out there, by asking things, you never know who you're going to make a connection with. So another thing that I wanted to mention is, so I'm actually in the middle of preparing a training class with a Scentsy leader of mine that lives in Region 2. And we're using the book Beach Money, which, by the way, if you haven't read that, you need to. I just listened to the whole thing yesterday and today again. I've read it 15,000 times. But anyway, to take this class, we're being very, very strict. It's kind of his baby. He's kind of created it, and he's being really, really strict about who can take it. And so long story short, a lot of people are like, well, I need to find another class. What else can I take? Is there a class that you suggest? Can you do another Leap to Lead? Can you do a Rising Stars? Can you do a this? Can you do a that? And I say to people, I'm like, you guys, build your front line, sponsor team members, build your front line, fill your calendar, whatever filling your calendar looks like to you, fill your calendar. If it's home parties, if it's online parties, if it's you're getting your stuff on social media, whatever it is, those are the things that are important. So I'm just kind of passing that advice along, because I'm hearing it so much from people. They want to know what classes to take. I think sometimes we're overtraining and underdoing. Just stop training so much and go do stuff. Like there's all kinds of things that are offered for you guys. I mean, there's so many calls and Work It Wednesday and this and that and all of these things. So yes, they're all available to you, but you don't have to do all of them, because if you don't have any parties booked and you don't have any ongoing conversations with people to inspire them to start their own business, then what the heck are you doing spending 6 hours on a Zoom call getting absolutely nothing accomplished? Again, those things are important, because I know you're creating relationships and you feel like you're part of a team, which is super important. So I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, but get the important things done. If you have got to have parties. If you are not easily selling 2,000 PRV and you're hoping to build an income that you want to pass on to your family members, if you want to create a life-changing income, if you want a life-changing business, you have to be able to sell 2,000 PRV. It's not hard. It's not hard in January. And I'm sorry if this is a little bit of tough love. And I know we've said many times, it's okay to work Scentsy part-time, but it's not okay to do it sometimes. If you just stay consistent and you just share, and you put everything else aside until you know that your PRV is solid, You shouldn't be doing anything else if you don't have solid PRV. If you don't know where you're going to come up with $500 in sales, get off the calls. Stop listening to all the things. Like, get on your phone and start making phone calls. Get on your, whatever it is that works for you, do it. If you're posting every day and you're doing stories on Instagram and you're putting so much time into that and you haven't gotten a single sale in 30 days, hello, do you really think that that's where you should be spending all of your time? Probably not. For some people that works, and maybe you tried it and that's fantastic. If you are trying to book home parties and you've gone in and done home parties in people's homes and they're just not working and you're coming out with barely $50 in orders and it's just never ever working out, well then why would you keep doing it that way? You need to figure out what's going to work for you. Get your PRV, get that solid, stop training and start going and doing. Same thing with sponsoring people. If you are not inspiring people to start their own Scentsy business, then you're not talking to people. Why aren't you talking to people? I don't know. Is it because you're just not talking to them because you're spending so much time reading all the books and doing all the trainings and listening to all the podcasts? And like, I totally believe that that stuff is super important, but you've got to figure your time. You have to manage your time wisely because what's important, I mean, just on all of our things, it says buy, host, join, right? So you got to learn how to get people to buy. Once you have mastered that, you also need to get, well, I shouldn't say once you have mastered that, you need to master buy, host, and join, all three of them, right? One thing that I just heard in Jordan Adler's book, which was really interesting, and again, this is leaning more towards those of you who really want to build a very successful, strong business. Some of you just want to do this part-time, but I kind of feel like you wouldn't be on this call if you were just hoping to do enough to be able to pay for your own Scentsy, right? I feel like those of you who are taking the time to be on this call are here because you are hoping to shift your business. There's never been a better time to shift your business than 2021, because with all of the unknown, everybody is like, what's going to happen in our country in the next 30 to however many days, right? Like, we're all like, who knows? This is the best time ever to inspire people to have something to do at home, to get it started now so that they know what they're doing if they get stuck at home again. Like, it is not difficult, but if you're not talking to people every single day about this, then don't expect people to knock on your door and say, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I should probably call Jill right now and start a Scentsy business, right? But Jill has to have planted those seeds for them. Like, it's just so important that you guys make this part of your everyday conversation. Every person that I see that walks anywhere, I look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, they should be a Scentsy consultant. Like, my mind automatically thinks that. I'm not a person that walks up to people that I don't know and starts talking to them about joining my team. Definitely not. That's not me. But I might try to make an impression on them, start a conversation with them, compliment them on something that I truly like about them. And then who knows, maybe I'll bump into them again someday. Maybe who knows? So I just try to build, to build relationships wherever I go, whether it's in person, online, wherever it is. So the point is buy, host, join, right? We have got to master those three things. Hosting. Where are you getting people to host? How are you getting people to host? Oh, that's what I started to tell you was in the book Beach Money. One of the things Jordan Adler just talked about toward the end of the book, I was listening to it today, is he said he has found that great salespeople have the most difficulty building big businesses. And I thought that was really interesting because some people are so focused on selling, and they're less focused on offering the opportunity. And honestly, you guys, the key, the $1 million secret is stop selling and start offering the opportunity. Because if you offer the opportunity to every single person you meet, they're going to want the product. You don't have to try to sell it to them because they're going to say, even if it's out of guilt, well, I really appreciate that you think I'd be good at this, but you know what? I'm just going to start with a warmer and some wax. I'm telling you right now, that's how the conversation will go. They're not going to just be like, ew, gross, I never want to do anything like that. Bye, click. Like, they are going to accept that compliment and that opportunity that you asked them, that you offered them, and then it will probably turn into a sale. So try to stop thinking about selling Scentsy and offering that opportunity if your hope is to build a successful business. So real quick, let's close with the 4 chords. So those of you guys who I get distracted easily, but those of you who know me know that I'm always going to talk about the 2-year plan and the 4 chords. So Orville Thompson came up with the 4 chords. I think they're absolutely brilliant. PRV, you got to sell. We already went over that. You have got to learn how to raise your PRV. If you are not consistently selling 2,000 PRV, and I'm not saying that you're bad if you're not selling 2,000 PRV. Honest to God, I am not saying that. I know that January is a more difficult month. I get it. But the point is, if you are consistently doing all of the things that build your business, then the momentum will keep you going through difficult months like the J months, even though we didn't have to experience that in 2020. So maybe we will have to experience it again a little bit. Like this month, I feel like things are a little bit lower than usual, but they don't have to be. We have to figure out how we can make that change, how we can get the momentum going again, right? So PRV, sponsor new consultants. Again, that's chord number 2. My throat's getting dry, sorry. So sponsor new consultants, already talked about that. Offering the opportunity. Stop training so much, stop doing all the things and start working on offering the opportunity to people. Don't even do anything else in the morning. Here's my suggestion. Don't do anything else every morning until you have made 10 connections with people, whether that is to host or join, forget buy, at least host, because sometimes it's easier to try to offer the opportunity to host or to open a link for them so that they can earn free Scentsy, and then that can turn into a join conversation, right? So every single morning, 10 people, do it. I'm telling you guys, if you do that 10 every single day, by the end of 30 days, there's no way that not one person joined your team. Not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. For those of you who haven't sponsored anyone in 3 months, it's because you haven't talked to enough people. That's the only reason. There's absolutely no other reason. People want a side gig. You have got to make sure that they know that you have everything that they want, and your family knows that, and your friends know that, and everybody knows that, right? Okay, chord number 3 is great customer service. And I feel like I'm kind of starting to add into that great team service, great whatever. If you have a team, be a great servant to them as much as you can. Again, we're all not perfect. We're all learning. We all make mistakes. You don't have to know everything. The best training you can give is to show them the way, not tell them how to do it, show them how to do it. Pop on when you've contacted 10 people every day for 7 days, hop on a page and go live. Hop on your director's page. Your director will love you more than I would love you more than anything in the whole world if you went live on my page and you started talking about your experience of contacting 10 people a day for 7 days in a row. Tell them they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she did that. Imagine if you got everybody on your team to do that, how quickly your team would grow. Chord number 4, sorry, I'm probably going way too long because you guys know me, I get winded. But chord number 4 is bettering yourself. What's that word? Personal development, I guess it's personal development. So personal development, yes, again, it's a 4th of the chords. So I think that so many times, especially right now when things start to slow down, we tend to think, oh, I need more training. I don't have enough sales. Nobody's joining because I'm not in the right training class this month. Like, I've got to train more. I need to read so many more books so that I can raise my PRV. Guys, no, it's not. That's not it. You have got to figure it out. You've got to, like everybody said, align yourself with people. Okay, this cute little girl, Candace, seriously, I want to eat her. She's like coming in and she's making me so excited. She's who I'm focusing on, so it's making me not nervous. So anyway, you're so sweet. You guys all know the 4 chords. You know the 2-year plan. One quick little tidbit. Sorry, I was with Scott and I have been planning this training that we're doing. And we've always talked about the 2-year plan. And he said to me, Jen, I just want to let you know that I don't 100% agree with the 2 and 2, the sponsor 2 people, sell 2,000. He said, I teach sell 2,000 PRV and sponsor 5 people a month. And so I said to him, I said, you know what's really cool about us, Scott, is that we run our businesses very differently. I am a home party person. He has always been more of an internet person, a YouTube person. He inspires people through his YouTube channel, through his all of his motivational stuff that he puts out there. So for him, his connections with people is a little bit, he has less of a connection with them because he doesn't personally know a lot of them. So he needs more of 5 people instead of 2, if that makes any sense. So that's a perfect example of if Scott got on this call right now and told you you needed to sponsor 5 people every month and sell 2,000 PRV, or you're not going to build your business the way you want, blah, 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 blah. But that's kind of the beauty of all of us realizing that we have to do what works for us. We have to understand our business. We have to understand our goals and our dreams. How big are your goals? How big are your dreams? And so nobody's way is the right way. It doesn't have to be 2002. It can be 1001, because let me tell you, if you have one person join a month and you get them to certified and then you get them to star, if you focused on one person every month and you got one person a month under you to get to star consultant, you would be a superstar director by the end of 2021. Period. Over. Out. Done. I can guarantee you, if you did that, you would be a superstar director with a fantastic paycheck that you can change your life, change the world, do all kinds of amazing things with. Done. So that's it.
And with us leading into the boards, will you quickly share what you heard in Beach Money about if people don't have the dreams, that it's okay? Like, will you just repeat that as we segue into our craft night?
Yes, you know what's funny is I found that I looked it up because I was talking about it earlier with some of the girls, and here it is. There's so for those of you who feel like, oh my gosh, I don't really have big dreams. Like, I don't really know what I want. I just really want to pay off my, like, be able to build a swimming pool. I want to have a swimming pool in my yard. Or I just want to be able to see my kids get on and off of a school bus. Like, I had no idea when my kids were in school that was one of my biggest dreams. No idea. Like, that had never even crossed my mind until it happened. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I am like everything I've ever wanted to be. I get to see my kids get on the school bus and get off the school bus. And I don't have to worry about what happens to them between school and home. Like, that was a big moment for me. But so this is what Jordan said in the book. You may not be dreaming about big homes, having a jet, or a horse ranch. Maybe you're inspired by different dreams. What matters is that you really get uncomfortable with the images of what you want. You must begin to feel what it would be like to experience your dreams once they're in your life. So I just kind of thought that was a really cool way of saying it's okay if you, like, sometimes we're almost embarrassed to put out there what would be really amazing for us because we don't want to sound like we're, what's the word? We're not, we don't want to sound selfish, or we don't want to sound like we're so great and like, I want this and I want a Ferrari and I want palm trees lining my driveway and I want this and that. But you know what? You know who one of the biggest dreamers is in the whole world is Becca Levi, right? Like, and how many of you have anything bad to say about her? Like, she's not a mean person, but she's going to tell you that she wants it all. She wants everything expensive. She wants the best car. She'll take a jet. She wants 15 houses. She wants it all, but she'll also be the first one to give when she can. So it's okay to dream big, but it's also okay. I didn't really answer, I don't think, what Heather said because my mind went on a totally different direction, but it's okay if you guys don't know what your big dreams are. So as you're making your boards today, if your dream is to see your kids get off of this school bus, putting a great big school bus right on the top of that board, you know what? That is like the coolest thing that can ever happen, is to be able to see your kids get on and off of the school bus. Hopefully they get to go back to school one day. So today that might not be, today you might wish you could see them get on the school bus and go to school. But again, it's okay if you don't have these big, elaborate, crazy dreams. Like, I've been through many processes. I've got all the little cards. I know you guys were on last week, but like, I pulled up my 2011, because I had a dream. All it says is, I wish to no longer be a dental hygienist. Like, that was my big dream for the year, was to no longer be a dental hygienist. So I've gone through all the phases of having smaller dreams, and now I am dreaming big and I'm dreaming in color. So don't be worried and don't be upset if you can't really come up with, if you're a little bit, nervous about what to put on your thing, or you know what, don't be, because it will change every year. You can update it, and especially if you guys do simple ones, if you do the ones like Jody did, Jody did one on not Canva, but something. But anyway, I'll stop. Sometimes I just keep talking for no reason.
No, that was perfect.
So
so I can share mine because my dream. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said I'm going to start crafting. Go ahead.
Okay, so I actually misunderstood what was happening tonight. Surprise, surprise. That's happens to be my theme. And so I actually earlier today was sitting here and did mine digitally, and it's actually already set as my screensaver on all 3 of my monitors on my computer. So I figured I could share that with you guys while you guys are doing yours, because I feel like, there's a lot of us on this panel that have reached really big goals that is going to seem very impossible for many. But the thing is we're still here and we still have bigger dreams. Like Jen, she shared, I'm sure last week, and I'm surprised she didn't share this week, but her very first one that she wrote, she accomplished every single one of the things that are on there, right? And she was looking for it. That's what she was actually doing. And why she was running, she was running around her house looking for that specific one. And when you look back then, the goals that she has now, she would be like, oh yeah, that's a wish. But she probably never thought that even those first ones were ever going to happen. Right. And so mine are tied in a little bit with, my mom, obviously we work our business together. And so, while we have similar goals, we also have very different goals as well. So here's mine, and I'm just going to share my screen because, oh, Jill, will you turn on screen share? Because it's right here on my desktop and you can look at it. So if you haven't used Canva, like if you don't want to do, if some people like to do the magazines and, get the magazines and cut it all up, or print the pictures and cut them out and put them on boards or whatever. Like I said, I just did mine digitally. And so here is mine. And I decided to put a quote. Our team name, for those that aren't a part of our group, is Group Make It Happen or Team Make It Happen. And I did some home goals. So right now, I was single, got married. I've been renting forever. So I've never really put down roots. And so to do that, I have home goals, right? We want to get the Tesla X, and we also want just a regular crossover. But we're also working on some other things down here that prevent those things from happening. So having the home, having, that retreat space in our home. These are some of the places I really still want to travel. I've been to Italy, thanks to Scentsy already. I got to go on the Mediterranean cruise, and that was incredible. I loved Italy. I want to definitely go spend more time there. So these are some of the places I want to go. My lifestyle, I put quality over quantity. I am the person that always shops for the deals. People knew for the long time that my mom and I were all about shopping at Ross. We still love to shop at Ross, and then we still love finding those finds. But I feel like as my life has started to get more cluttered, which leads actually to the next image, I've been really focusing on quality of items and things over quantity of things. And so that's where that quality over quantity came in. The next one, I've been obsessed with the home edit, and my world right now is a complete and utter disaster. And so to pay somebody to come in and professionally clean and organize my house from top to bottom would be the biggest goal ever. So I put one of their pictures here. I still have debt. I want to be debt free. And then actually this picture of me and some bald dude is actually Jordan Adler. And I got to meet him. That's the author of the book that Jen was talking about, Beach Money. And I added that because I was like, oh crap, I have that image. I need to go grab that. But I am actually holding, this was I want to say 9 years ago. So phone cameras weren't that great. This is a horrible picture, but I'm actually holding his Centurion American Express card. And I used to work at American Express. And when I quit, my goal was, we learned about those when I worked there. I want to have the Centurion American Express card. And people say okay, but you want to be debt free, but you want this really bougie credit card. What is that about? Right. But to get a Centurion American Express card means that you've reached a certain level of success in life. It's invitation only. And so that's a huge thing in mine. And so I actually was so scared. And Heather Earl and I, Superstar Director Heather Earl and I, went up to him and I said, I'm probably, we were behind the stage, and he's like, don't let anybody know that you did this, because I don't want to start a thing. I don't want to start a line. And so he let me hold his Centurion American Express, and I took a picture of it so I could put it on my dream board, because he is all about getting to that point in life. And then I did some business goals. So we want to have a commission check of 100K every single month for at least 12 months, which to some that seems crazy, but I can tell you that we've achieved big goals there. Yes, Carrie just texted me. She was there also. I forgot. I didn't forget that you were there, but you know, so it was actually that year was Mastermind. If you saw in our groups, we posted about it, that several of us attended that the beginning of January. And this was at Mastermind, the very first one that I ever went to. And it was just Heather Earl, Carrie Bowens, my mom, and myself. So that was that picture. Anyways, so we want $100,000 commission checks every single month. So that's what, 1.2 million a year. We are strive for 50 first generation directors and above. So that's still a big one. And some people are like, oh, I'm just trying to get to director myself, or 4 or whatever. Minimum of 11. You're going for 11 frontline directors. And I will tell you that because at one point we actually had 32 frontline directors. And I think right now we're at 21 frontline directors because people come and go. Some people feel like they're a lifer and then life happens and they're not. And then the next one is also Circle of Excellence, which is after Superstar Director. Circle of Excellence is having 6 first generation superstar directors. So we don't have that quite yet. And so that is my business goals. And the other thing is like dream boards can change, right? When you hit certain goals or maybe your priorities in life completely shift, dreams boards can change. So that's what I did for mine digitally. So you can do that in Canva or Over or whatever, really.
Yeah, I got to go back to Canva and redo mine. Watch, I knew I needed to. It has everything on there I want, but it doesn't aesthetically please me. So I'm gonna have to work on that some
So now
more.
you're gonna go do one more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I've been saying it since I showed it to Heather. I'm like, there's just something missing about it. I told Bill, I go, it doesn't have any pink on it. So I'm gonna work on it and then I'll post it next week.
That's hilarious. Chrissy asked how many frontline superstar directors we have right now. We have 3. We had 4, and believe it or not, we've had 2 superstar directors leave that were our frontline. We've had several within the group, but even people get to that level and they still make crazy life choices that none of us will ever understand.
And every one of them always regrets it. I have yet to meet a superstar director who left who regretted it, who didn't regret it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's crazy.
Because we all know, we should probably talk about how the grass is not greener on the other side. When January comes and things start to slow down, you have to, this is what separates the good from the great, is what do you do when you're faced with your business not doing what you wanted it to be doing? Like you worked so hard all fall, you had this great paycheck and you've had all these great paychecks, and then January comes and things slow down. Like, what do you do? Do you go sell something that's going to be super successful for 3 to 6 months and forget about Scentsy? Or do you figure out how to keep it going? I'm hoping that you decide to figure out how to keep it going.
I have to second that because I've been with 12 other companies and this is the one that I've been the longest with. I was with a rubber stamp company for 10 years, was the longest. And this is the longest one that I've been with and never thought I would be doing or making what we are. And if it does seem unreal, it's baby steps to get to the big, what you're hearing, right? Like you're not going to make $100,000 paychecks a month like Callie and Becca are doing. They've put in a lot of years, a lot of work, a lot of consistent work. They didn't start, quit, come back, get back in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? Like you've got to make the decision when you're in, you're all in. And when you're all in, you're doing all 3 components. 1 out of 3 is not going to get you where you want to go. And if it's hard to get momentum, you got to figure out why you're even wanting to do this. Me being motivated to run my business is not necessarily going to make you motivated to run your business. Yes, you may get off these calls like, I am so pumped up. I am ready to go. And yes, it may spark a little fire. Oh, should we say, we shouldn't say fire. We are flameless. Spark a little something in you. I don't know what yet, not flammable, but
spark a little enthusiasm, a little
yes,
energy.
Yes. You've got to figure out why you're doing this. And that's why we're creating these dream boards tonight. So all of you should be crafting and making your dream boards right now, instead of just sitting here listening and watch us do them. Because if you're not creating it, you will probably be in the same spot 6 months from now where you are right now. Because the first step is identifying why you're even here, why you want to make 10 phone calls tomorrow and reach out to 10 people. If you don't know why, we can't help you. It's got to be your decision. I can't spoon feed you and force feed you. It's on you. You're a big girl or a big guy. You're a grown up, right? It's your business, not mine. So you got to make that decision.
Can I share a story that just came to me as you were talking, Heather?
Yeah.
So years ago, I had a director who, gosh, she was on fire. She was great. She was driven and motivated. Her husband supported her. She went to leadership suite. You know, everything was going the right way. And then I'm not really sure what happened. It was kind of like out of the blue. Oh, I should add to this before that is they were going to her husband and her. She didn't work. He was going to quit his job in order to run Scentsy on a more full-time basis. So they had all of these dreams and goals, and they were doing all the right actions and taking all the right steps to go to the places they want. And then without warning, it was like, nope, I don't think I want to do this anymore because I'm sacrificing too much time with my kids. I'm not home enough. And I was unable to open her eyes to what was really the big picture, which was, yes, you are making sacrifices right now to get to where you want. Because in the end, we all did. Jen, I'm sure if you guys have been around a while, I've heard her story about how many parties she did in the beginning. She sacrificed her time and her, being away from home to go do those home parties for the greater good, which is those paychecks that she's got now and the freedom that she has now and the ability to, make different types of decisions for her family. So there is sacrifice that we all are going to make if we want those big rewards. It will be the same whether you're working for yourself here or if you were working for a 9 to 5 for somebody else. If you're an attorney trying to make partner, they're never home, but their income is still capped. There's still a ceiling on it, but they're making those sacrifices now for their end goal. So keep that in mind. Sometimes people will lose the momentum because they feel, what's the word? They can't see. They can't see the end goal. They get
they don't have that
frustrated.
vision, I think is what you
They
mean,
don't
right?
have the vision to carry them through the sacrifices that are required to get to where you want to go. I hope that made sense.
It totally made sense. And it made me think.
Perfect.
And I was on with her earlier when she was kind of talking about like, don't worry if your dreams are, I'm not going to say it as well as she did, but I started writing things down. I am working on mine. But when Jody was talking, I also thought of something else that I don't even know. My brain is not functioning right. But like, comparison is really hard. I think that's a conversation I have with myself a lot. I have with a lot of my leaders because, oh my gosh, everybody's doing this. Why am I not doing this? But then I also look and go, gosh, I got a lot further this year than I have in a lot. Like I made so much more progress. I may not have been where I wanted to, I didn't end where I wanted to, but compared to the year before, I made huge strides. And so like Heather said, you can't really kind of compare maybe your goals to what Callie's or to what Jen's are. And it made me think of this quote I saw. It's not going to be perfect, but I wanted to read it to you because you can put any words here you want. But marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Obesity is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Communication is hard. Not communicating is hard. Choose your hard. Life will never be easy. It will always be hard, but we can choose our hard, choose wisely. And so you could put any of those words in there, like just whatever fits for you. What may be so hard for me, for Jill, may be a freaking breeze, like it's not a big deal for Heather to go talk to strangers, to strike up a conversation, and it will maybe, the scariest thing in the world to someone else. So what we think is hard may not be hard to someone else, but there's there's something that we do that they can't imagine doing either. So when you're looking at your board and thinking, oh my gosh, like, cause I was kind of comparing mine aren't big enough, or mine are like, I kind of thought mine were too small or not materialistic enough. I know that sounds really weird, but the more I was talking about it, I literally now have like a list of things, and I'm going to look for the pictures, and I'm gonna like quit comparing that, because everybody's heart is different. So just remember that. You hear that a lot, I think, from superstar directors, that, you know, I can't remember, so I don't want to name names, but she said, I've never earned annual, I think she said she'd never earned annual sales. But I looked at her and was like, what? I like, in my brain, it was like, I figured you had like done all the things, you know? And so she's like, well, that's not where her strength is. And so I think we all know those people who can sponsor really well, but maybe they don't have high sales, or vice versa. So just keep that in mind as you're making your list, and don't discount what you're capable of doing.
I loved that, JP, that quote so much. That was amazing. Love that. Choose your heart. And we all compare. Go ahead.
I loved it.
I was going to say, we all compare. I mean, I have a superstar director that I'm watching. She's been in less than me. I've watched her paychecks pass mine and get bigger. And, you know, I don't agree with a lot of things that she does, but I still watch her and learn from her, and I choose to take the good from her, and I choose to be inspired by her, pieces of things that I can be inspired by. And you know what? That's okay. Like I could feel really down, like, oh my gosh, how come she just came in like a tornado and all of a sudden is making all this money? And I've been slowly, I mean, I have totally gone uphill and have done well. And I'm very happy with my progress, but I didn't have this like quick jump. I have made it slow and steady. But so I could choose to be a little jealous, or I could, you know, I choose to just try to learn what I can and learn a little bit from every leader, learn a little bit from everybody, without trying to do everything that everybody does. And that's another thing. And that kind of goes back to not doing all the training all the time, is not thinking that you have to do everything that everybody does. I mean, like if you're not making opportunity packets right now, and you're hearing about all these great opportunity packets, and you don't have a party booked for the next 3 months, and you haven't sponsored anyone in 2 months, well, hand people a showcase brochure and maybe stick a scent circle in it. Like, you don't have to make it pretty with glitter and all that, because until the other things are done, until the important things are done that are going to get you to where you want to go, don't worry about the other stuff, right? And I thought of something else too. And the only reason I'm continuing to talk is because I already did my dream board, because there's no way I could sit in this circumstances and do mine, because I could never focus. I have a hard time focusing, in case you didn't know.
She also really struggles to sit in silence. Like, we will work together and we'll all be sitting here just working, and Jen pops on and she'll be like, so what are you guys doing? And then a few minutes later, why is everybody so quiet? Well, because we're working.
I can't. I'm bad.
So.
I actually was the perfect person to be a dental hygienist, because I could just keep talking while you lay there with your mouth open.
And I always laugh at dental hygienists, because I'm like, they keep talking like I can talk back right now. Like, when they asking me questions, I'm so stuff in my mouth.
Yep. But it was amazing what you can understand by looking at somebody's eyes.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's funny.
I
feel so awkward, because, you know, I go to the orthodontist once a month right now, that when they come, I don't know where to look. I can't respond. I close my eyes and I'm just like, I feel so awkward. So
just know that they don't even know what you're looking at, because it's all they do. Like, they're not even paying attention to where you're looking. Especially, I will say that, because you have to wear safety glasses as any dental professional, most people who are looking at the glare, because they can see themselves. And we all know that. So we don't think you're staring. I haven't cleaned teeth in 5 years, guys. So I'm talking like I'm still a hygienist, but yay, which is such good news. As a matter of fact, I was telling Callie I think I already did this, didn't I? Here's my second dream board I ever made. It literally has one sentence on it that says, I am no longer a practicing dental hygienist. That was in 2011. I wrote that.
So I'll share a couple, since mine's done, I will share a couple thoughts about that. So that sheet that Jen keeps holding up is something that we did. We were having retreats. That's something that we did every year. We did I Dare to Dream, and it was that those cards, and we asked everybody to write them 3 times exactly the way that they were, and then they would take one home with them to put wherever they would like. And then about 6 months in, I would send them their second one. And if they came to the retreat the next year, we would give them to them at that retreat. And if they did not, then we would mail them out again. So they got a little reminder later. But those, a lot of times people they don't do them, or they're even afraid to admit or put really out there what they're going for. So a couple stories. One, when my mom first started, she wrote her dream board check to earn $15,000 a month. And but her real goal was like $50,000 a month, right? But she didn't want to tell anybody about the 50 because that just seemed like that could never happen. So we'll just go safe and we'll do 15,000. So, sometimes we even have those fears inside ourselves that we're not willing to admit to others because we're almost embarrassed, because people will say, you're not going to make that happen, right? But guess what? Then I'll show you I can make it happen, because with enough time and enough consistent effort, all of those things will come to fruition. The next thing was Superstar director Kathy Zaborski. She had taken, where the heck do you even find these anymore? You have to get them from the bank. But she had taken a $2 bill, and she had one of those desks that had the glass on the top. And so she took that $2 bill and she wrote 4 zeros behind it. So it was $20,000, and put it in her desk. And that was kind of the way she could see it right here, that she kept that $20,000 check goal on her brain. And when she achieved it, she obviously pulled that out and had to put something else in there. So I don't know what she did, if it was grabbing a $10 bill and putting a bunch of 4 zeros behind that and having a $100,000 check, who knows? But those are a couple things. Also, I can say, we'll do insert income disclosure statement here, because we are talking about like lifestyle and things like that, right? But I know that we've accomplished the 50 and doubled. We have accomplished, I know Kathy has accomplished, I know many people here have accomplished those big goals, but I think it's important to remember that it's not about the money. Like that's a great and easy goal to set, but it's about what you're going to do with that money, right? What is that money going to allow you to do? I think I did, if you've heard this story before, I'm going to apologize, but I did Heather Gorsuch's call once. And I was talking about writing out the checks to yourself. And if you need the check, you can drop it, say it. So in the chat, I'll drop the link. But I was talking about writing out the check and setting those goals. And I had asked in her group to share with me, if you had some goals of like what that money would pay for, what would you do with it? And so a couple people unmuted and they shared. And then I noticed one of the gals, I won't say her name, I don't know if she's on tonight, I don't see her on the main screen, but one of the gals actually said, I noticed that she was crying, and I knew her well enough that I called her out. And I'll never forget, because it made me emotional, and I don't get emotional very often. But she had shared that they had struggled with fertility, and they had quit because they didn't have the money. And she, for whatever reason, didn't connect the dots until that night when another gal had shared her dream board. She hadn't connected the dots that Scentsy could be what fed that, what allowed her to make that happen. And so sometimes, until other people share what they're working towards, or their whys or their goals, it doesn't really spark, for whatever reason, it doesn't connect that Scentsy can be that vehicle to get you to where you want to be. And so just knowing that really it's not the money, but it's what you can do. It's not necessarily the money, but what the money can allow you, the flexibility, like Jen, of watching her kids get off the bus and allow that freedom, right? So I just love those stories to share.
It is the top of the hour, folks. That quick. Look how fast that went by. I know. Jamie's shocked. She's like, wow, it's already been an hour.
I am really shocked.
Yeah. Yep. All right. How's everybody's boards coming tonight? Did you make some progress? Let's see your progress. Oh, good. Christina, I love it. Lynn, Amanda, Holly, good. Y'all are getting a lot cut out. Good. I only see one screen. I should have flipped it.
DeArtis. I hope I said that right. I'm probably.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's DeArtis White. Yep. Oh, yeah, I see DeArtis now. I'm on the second screen now. Oh, you've got a big one, girl. I know. I left space too, so I can add more. I'm gonna put some more space. Diana, I see yours.
Kathy, I see yours.
And can I make a request? And I have a feeling that all of the superstar directors would be on board with me with this request. I'm kind of speaking for them, so I hope they don't mind. But I would love, if you're in my group, for you to post a picture of your dream board on our team page and group page and tell us about your dream board. Like, tell us why you did it and what your dreams are. Share a little bit. Like, you guys, I hope you all understand that your leaders want nothing more than you to share and to participate and to be part of your pages. Because when we build community, when we feel like we belong, when we help other people, it only helps you. So when you inspire one person to dream a little bit bigger, it will help you with your dreams. I'm not kidding. It truly works.
That's awesome. It's true. Community, build your business. Dive in, Jill said. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Next Thursday, come with yours complete. We're actually going to do another small training, but we want to hear the story behind some of yours. So we're going to ask some of you to unmute and share what's on your board. Why do you have it?
And maybe even if you took the challenge to contact 10 people every day, and how to build your PRV, like what you did starting tonight to shift your business into where you need it to go to build that momentum again. If any of you have some great results, I would sure love to hear it.
Definitely. All right, guys, have a great night. We'll see you next Thursday night. Bye, everybody. You know, Jill, she's going to wait till everyone's gone.
Probably because of our crazy night where we all decided to stay on until like 5 a.m. or whatever time it was. So people, I see some of you who are afraid to hang up. You're afraid you're going to miss out.
Listen,
but I think,
well, it doesn't
we're
help,
really
guys.
going.
They're awesome after this.
The best stuff happens, isn't it?
It is kind of fun.
It was a little crazy.
It was so much fun. The
Yeah,
best
that
night
went on
ever.
forever. I never know if to just end or
I
like,
know.
is there like,
I hate goodbyes.
it's like sitting in the movie theater when you wait for those, like what's going to happen after the credits.
Oh yeah, if it's going to show you like
the
a
after
sneak
party
peek at the end or something.
My best friend, this is a funny story. She was here last night and she told me a hilarious story. Some of you guys probably have kids. I can't remember what movie it was, but she said she was with her two kids.
This is why we
They were watching the movie and it got to the very end. They're waiting for the credits and everything goes black. And all of a sudden this little character pops into the movie screen and says, "Hey kids, ask your parents how babies are made." And so she was like, "Are you effing kidding me?" She's like, "I hope no one heard." Can you imagine? So like the little kids are sitting there and I guess Grayson was like, "What? Like, what was that?" I go, "I can't even believe they allowed that."
Yeah, that's a big one.
Hey, Jill, we're still recording. P.S.
Oh,
We'll edit that.
yeah. Thank goodness.